Okay.
Last time on Curse of Strahd, the tribe mates Nazrin and Mary sought a strange, newfound companion able to wander within the mists at the far edge of the valley. A woman with faraway eyes and a body half consumed by a ghastly pallor, Cambry, was happy to travel the northern edges of the valley with these two Vistani, your collective mutual curiosity spurring your traveling alliance. And your trio detected, assaulted, and survived a shambling horde of zombies, dispatching them in these brilliant shows of very practiced powers, the first display of them to all three of you of one another's. But before you three could properly cheers to this undead victory, the mists themselves unleashed a draconic roar, a terrifying quake, and a gale of sheer cold that tore at you all. Freezing, frayed, frightened, you fled and sheltered within a narrow cave to escape the unknown terror. Put as much distance as possible between yourselves and the mists, and recover what strength you could. The icy wounds upon you all are blackened, seemingly beyond that of just pure frostbite as quickly as they developed, and the edges of these ice-made lacerations are particularly blackened. But a fire does burn in this cave, overlooking the misty northern woods of the valley. Your gear is thawing, and each of you may act as you may in this first true rest that this trio would have, this very forced rest. So the floor is yours, Mistwalkers.
Um, I'd say that Nazrin at this point is probably making some kind of meager dinner for the rest of what we have. Those of us who are here out of rations, but she's very much at the fire. Um, she's also
Let me.
got the yeah.
Oh, I was actually just gonna say this before we properly started, and I feel inclined to still say it now. Obviously, even beyond the
Go
jumping right
ahead.
into session. Obviously, two out of three of you guys have not touched these characters, RP'd them, or acted upon them in any significant way yet. So, really, the point of the session, guys, is to practice and to get comfortable with abilities, with characteristics, and to push some information gathering that would have happened in the months prior as well. So, don't feel like you all of a sudden have to be exceptional
Hmm.
at this very quick RPing. Um, but
I
that's
also
all.
haven't played Nazrin in like a year, so forgive my Romanian Jamaican. That's probably
Oh,
gonna go in and
here's
out.
it hasn't been that long, has it?
It's been about a year.
Jesus, really?
I close to a year. I got Ren back. I think we were going to Ravenloft in June. We had like a session or two before that, so I think it was like May, end of April. I got her back, so it's getting there.
It's
It's been a
been
while.
that long since I played Danielle.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's been a
Dang.
long time
Beyond
since Perez.
beyond the obviously the basic needs of the survival of what the time now, like as you said, making dinner. I think the most curious things to ponder for both your own sakes and the visualization of the others is physical reactions to what you just encountered, any points of discussion, reactions, questions raised, confusions. Um, I think a lot of the general acts of yes, we have to make a fire, we have to eat, are a bit understood unless they're more poignant to something you're going to lead into. Um, but a dragon just assaulted you from the mists, one that very thankfully has not followed you and was not even made visible in your fleeing. So I want to
Yes.
know when you're able to sit and stop fleeing for these half moments in these few hours, just what it looks like for these characters, these mistwalkers.
The first thing Myri does, or Mary, I still can't decide. I don't know.
All right, you've got this session to decide it.
I
Yeah.
think you've been saying Mary, and I was thinking Myri, but I think I like Mary better.
Okay.
Mary.
Um, First thing Mary does is with Argo, close to his shoulder. He goes to the mouth of the cave, sits Argo on one side of the entrance with the silver wire that he has, and brings it over to the other entrance and gives Argo a little pat on the head. Argo is his silver dragon pet. And has him sort of, at least for now, perch up above the cave, just on watch. And I'll cast Alarm on that silver wire, make my way back into the cave.
You don't need to do that.
Because obviously your dragon, I think at least for Cambry, the first she saw of it was in, combat and destructions. But to see that it also has this versatility use as well, is new. Nazrin, you've seen his dragon used for multiple purposes already.
And,
I may then. Oh, go ahead.
No, you can go.
Though Nazrin is trying to just keep up on their survival and make dinner, get food in us. That's also going to be part of feeling better. As you set up, and I see your small silver dragon setting up this, Naz also would have that kind of faraway look in her eyes. And without turning to Mayri, she would just kind of say out loud, she's like, I truly didn't think there was another one in here.
Cambry is kind of just hovering over Nazrin's shoulder. Like, just kind of, like, lightly watching to see what she's making. She's got kind of this look in her face of, like, imagine you just took smelling salts, but it is, like, drawn out over an hour. You know? Of, like, a shock, but in, like, a, whoo, I'm awake, kind of way. Not shocked in, like, a scared way, but, like, maybe a touch excited, which might come across as unnerving.
Is there a response you would have to that, Shauna, as Nazrin, as you are
wondering
aloud?
I was about to out loud say something.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Cameron's just like, after Nazrin says, I didn't think there's another one out there, she's just gonna be like, whew, I know, could you feel that?
I can feel a lot of things. And she recalls, like, the rattling in her teeth, and she looks at her frostbitten lacerations.
Are you medicine trained, Shauna or Nazrin?
No, I don't think. No.
Anybody medicine trained?
No. I'm not.
I'm pretty high up. Not trained, but I've got it pretty high up. I've got a +4 because of my wisdom. So.
Okay. Is Mayri medicine trained by chance?
Nope, same deal as Nazrin.
All right. No traditional healers, but if Nazrin is observing these frostbitten, blackened wounds, do roll me a medicine check as you look at them a little closely.
Sure. As I look at them a bit closer, she will continue, though, and say, back to Cambry, what did you feel specifically?
If you're asking if I felt like something different.
I got a 7.
No. But just the sheer power behind that roar.
Well, yeah.
Took that straight to the nostrils,
To the nostrils, to the bones.
Yeah, I know. I think I twisted my ankle by just, like, hearing that.
As you look down with a 7 medicine check, discussing the power of this dragon, you've encountered many types of wounds, magics, and even dragons in your time, but you're no healer. This is certainly intense frostbite, is what you make of these wounds. Not to be unexpected, unfortunately, from something so ferocious and mighty, but that's what you know with a 7.
I'm gonna hold this ember, like, close to it without touching your skin, or?
Were you asking me that? I'm
Yes.
sorry. I mean,
Ember,
honestly,
Camry's fully like juggling an ember, like doing that back and forth, like hot potato thing in her hand, so she doesn't burn herself.
Have we? I assume this is like the kind of thing where we've taken damage and we're sort of beaten
Yeah,
up,
the
resting here.
force of the sheer cold dragon's breath reduced you all to single digits of health. Mood and affect aside, this is a very, I think, short or forced short rest at minimum. Longer if you all so choose, depending on really the forward thoughts that might come for after this rest. But
All right.
yes,
So,
you are deeply damaged.
Mary will what you see is from his left pec and shoulder area, you see a bright partial design of a tattoo. It's like like a third of a slice of what looks like a cup of some kind. Glows with a magical light, and he'll dole out a few healing spells to each of you. He'll give each of you second level cure wounds. So,
As Mary lays a hand on each of you one at a time, the frostbite certainly recedes, color returns to areas of your skin, or maybe depending on where Cambry was frostbitten, color doesn't necessarily
Cure
return, but the
wounds.
wounds.
Cure wounds is a touch spell, correct?
Cure Wounds is a touch spell. I go to Nazrin first, and she gets 14 health, and then I also get health because of my Chalice Starry Form Wild Shape that allows me to heal myself when I cast a healing spell.
Where would you say you
cool.
place your hands on Cambry?
And then I
And
get 1d8 plus Wisdom modifier.
And
That's what it
I
is.
specifically want to know what side of the body as well.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say that it's your very pale side that is the most frostbitten, because I want to trigger whatever you're trying to make happen.
So I think it's
Shoulder.
kind of
He goes for your shoulder.
I think it's kind of hard to tell unless you're up close to her. But the sort of area where her skin starts to become very pale, her hair loses all its color, her eyes lose all of its color. That area, it's not like a distinct line that stops. The edge of it is kind of blurry, and it kind of shifts like smoke kind of drifting in the wind a little bit, but just so ever slightly. And when you place your hand on her shoulder, like as if you pushed a ripple through, some of it kind of extends further into her face, and then it kind of recedes back. Like there's some sort of smoky, misty fluid within her form.
Mary, seeing this appearance this close now, even placing a hand on her shoulder, your favorite enemy is undead, right?
Yep.
This is so similar to the classic presentation of a specter or a ghost, really just with a physical corporeal body, even to the point that when you go to place your hand upon the ghastly side of them, you half expect that maybe you're going to pass through, though it is solid body.
Right,
You
and
know, it's funny. The Cure Wounds specifically says the spell has no effect on undead or constructs. So I think that the closer I get, I can obviously tell that it looks... Her paleness looks like it presents like a specter, but there's clearly something that's flesh and blood on her as well.
Do you have a moment where you like hesitate and doubt whether it'll work?
Yes, absolutely.
I think you do see it take effect though.
This is the first time. I think it's the first time I've actually had to heal you. I don't know if we've been in combat.
No, this
before.
whole encounter is kind of the first all three of you have met. Nazrin's only met Cambry once, therefore Cambry's only met, and this is the second time. Mary and Cambry, this is the first real time you've been together. And I think since really like meeting each other and agreeing to kind of just go about the edge of the mist out of kind of a curiosity for one another. It was pretty quick that this all turned about. There's been very little time to observe, to communicate, to ask questions about why and what and how. So,
Eric, this can't be the first time that we've met because Mayri gave me my weapon.
it's either he gave it to you when he met you now, a few hours ago,
Okay.
or
Fair enough.
um,
This is very long drawn out of us messing around with the mists then.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're the freak that Nazrin found in the mist. And that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah,
And
definitely in that
not-
time frame, you've caught Cambry just trance-like, just staring. You know, just completely zoned out. So you're like, you need something that's gonna wake you up, you know?
Yeah, I think when Nazrin presented it to me as like, this chick just lives in the mists,
Yeah.
and she's like, this out of it? Oh boy.
would you stop to ask if your healing would have an effect approaching this like somewhere in between, human and ghost person?
No, I think there is a moment of hesitation where he's like, I wonder, but he's just gonna do it. He's about action when it comes to seeing a need and doing something that needs doing. Mayri is the way that his stats are, with wisdom being his highest stat, I think it's he knows what to do, but he's not gonna like wait for the optimal time or the optimal information. It's just like, hey, we just almost all died. Let's at least heal, get some healing out there.
Yeah.
But he knows that, healing magic doesn't work on the undead, but she's not really undead.
I have a question for Nazrin, unless Marty or Mike, you guys either have any further interaction to have in this healing.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I
Cambry
think
just
that
has an
when
appreciative
Mayri's-
smile, that's all.
I think that when Mayri's spell works, he'll turn to Naz and say, I mean, it's not Argynvost. It can't be. The fact that there's something like
She
that
shakes
at
her
all
head
in
very
there.
quickly as you start saying that.
Things, I mean, looking at Cambry and back to Naz, things don't just live in the mists. The only things we found in there are the undead.
Who's Argynvost?
I was about to say, you have no idea who that is, Cambry.
Don't have to tell me.
Argynvost is a legend to the people of Barovia, especially the Vistani. It was ages ago, but the Silver Dragon once protected this land, and was defeated by the Count. She has a little bit of a stern, like recalling the bedtime story, but she really just gives that quick overview, and she continues with, there shouldn't be any dragons in Barovia anymore. So whatever that, and she thumbs her way up the mountain again, was, it is ancient, it is powerful.
It can't be a real dragon.
How do you know?
It can't be a proper dragon. The only things.
Listen, I don't want to believe it.
I mean, Naz, how many different planes are the mists connected to that would have a dragon, anything living in them?
Cambry's eyes go wide.
I was gonna say, this is
Yeah.
Mistwalkers you all may be, but some of you have much shorter tethers
It's
than
like
Nightwalkers.
knowing about Walmart and then hearing about Walmart supercenters. That's what Cambry just experienced. You know? She's like, whoa.
Mike, I'm sorry.
Cambry,
Can you
are
repeat
you-
your question one more time? Unless
Just
you're going to continue.
I mean, it was how many different planes could the mists possibly be connected to that would have anything, let alone a dragon living in the mists? It just feels like it's so improbable it can't be real.
Maybe
And
it's
Amber's-
something that never left the mists.
It
Maybe
can't
it was always a part of Barovia.
it can't
and
be
it
a
just
death
got
sentence.
stuck.
It can't be a death sentence to be in there, because I mean, she just kind of shrugs.
And she, as you shrug, Nazrin points to you and is like, yeah, because you're in there, Cambry. Which,
Well, I mean, we are, and then you see just phasing out of the right side of her body slowly is here. Actually, hold up. Can I?
Say, remember, no one really knows about
I want to be able
Cambry
to.
at all above the table. You know above the table stuff, but you guys haven't talked about her at all on the table.
I'm
And you
getting
wanna
to it.
You're looking to put
Can
your other half down.
Yeah, can I have like a token to
Yeah.
do that?
Yep. I'm just gonna make. The best I can do is I'm gonna make you another character sheet.
That's fine.
What's its name? Not Cambry. It's what?
I don't think I have come up with a name yet, but
Cambry number 2.
just brother token.
And that's gonna be a 2. Is it? Nope. Is it?
I actually don't think that Cambry knows the name.
Mm.
Maybe that's something she's trying to figure out.
Hmm.
Because like her whole thing is that she's trying to, figure out the
connection.
the whole mists and stuff,
Her
and find her memories that are all hazy and everything.
A diagnosis as well.
Yeah. Okay, stand by 1 sec, guys.
But these
Um,
thoughts of stupor and seeming unbelief of this dragon, it seems you two are searching for any answer that it could be besides a true dragon, whether that be out of not wanting it to be so or truly thinking that things are as they are and could not be so. And in your discussion of the mists and what they serve, or in death, which clearly piked Cambry's interests, and we have projected from her as this is reflected.
Yeah, and she specifically says we, and then out phases this other more spectral person who you guys probably noticed in our fight, but we didn't have a moment to talk about it, I think.
No, not at all. And this is entirely new as far as known abilities and magics go to both of our Vistani players.
And he's
As
just
you
kind of
sit here,
standing there. He's just kind of standing there, kind of mimicking the same stance and movements that Cambry is, but not saying anything.
So, just to clarify, are there now 2 of them standing there? Or is it like, did she start to immediately look like him and now he took her spot?
No, there's two.
2 of them?
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
A man and a woman, whose ghastly pallors are on mirrored sides of their body, whose features are quite similar despite clearly being, again, a man and a woman. And Cambry, the one who you've been speaking with, clearly in control of the overall coordination and direction. Again, this apparition in the mist and in the fight against the zombies and in the fleeing from the dragon, but this has never revealed itself even when you first met Cambry and re-sought her to just meet more formally with a companion alongside you, this Mistwalker. Now you are here in the peace and in the flickering of this fire, seeing, well, this phenomenon.
I think Naz will, seeing a second person materialize and still on like a heightened survival, back up a bit.
It's okay. It's okay. And then he fades. But
Who or What was that?
You didn't.
I know we've got the dragon to think about, but this, you,
It's
who are
I-
you? What
I think
are
it's
you?
I think it's my brother, but I don't like. I feel that sort of familiar connection, but they're not. You know, I'm an only child. Um, and I don't really understand it, but they're a part of me, but also me. I really don't know exactly how to, like, they're separate, but they are me. I get flashes, I get memories. It's what drew me to the mist in the first place.
So these
Certainly not a death
flash,
sentence, as Cambry said, at least not in her mind.
these flashes and these memories of yours, they're of his, and that's what led you
Well,
to dance the mists
they're of
for your
his, but
answers?
they're of his, but they're not his. They're mine, but they're also not mine. All at once.
Are there any more people taking up residence in your head?
Not that I know
And who
of.
they could be in those flashes?
Not-
If they're not yours and they're not his.
Not that I know of.
Oh, how complicated. Okay.
Trust me, it's weird.
How
Plus, I've also kind of figured something out as well. Like I said, I control it. Like, it is me, but it isn't me. And Camry's just gonna point at you, Nazrin, and all of a sudden
Okay.
you hear a male voice in your head speaking. Do you see what I mean?
um, please stop doing that.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Please don't kill me.
I no, Cambry, and she takes a breath and relaxes and just kind of rubs her temples of first the dragon and now this. You're clearly, and she puts her hand in front of her like you're clearly no threat. You kicked ass back there,
Oh, thank you.
but
Sometimes it doesn't even really feel
whatever-
like it's me doing that.
I can see why that would happen. How long have you been trying to traverse these mists and get answers and see what you kind of see with your brother?
Years. It's just
Years.
never really got me anywhere, but you know, I didn't always look like this. It's just gotten kind of worse over the years. Didn't start this way anyway.
How did it start?
I don't know. But
Probably
he
none.
he
Is what it started with at first.
he's like
Well, I
kind
mean,
of
like,
he's
how
kind of
did-
always been there though. Like, I've always felt him.
A presence.
Yeah.
Like a ghost?
I don't think I'm haunted.
Well, that's a plus.
I feel like if I was
The
haunted,
person who is half ghost looks at you. I don't think I'm haunted.
if I was haunted, they'd try to hurt me.
Gives you, like,
Like, I think Cambry, in her such naive wisdom, is like, if I was haunted, they'd try to hurt me. You know?
I think Nazrin not totally buying it, and but you're still a stranger is gonna be nice and be like,
The very haunted person
Okay.
says they're not haunted. Yeah.
"Mhm," and she's like, yeah, okay, ugh.
Unless
If you-
you had any. Well, go ahead. Actually, finish whatever thought you're about to make.
It
Then,
was
Asher,
more
by all
gonna
means.
continue on to his, but I do want to give
Yeah, I was curious what
like a minute
Mary's
if you've got
reaction
some
to this
questions,
is.
too.
Very curious, Mike, on what Mary's reaction to this is.
Since you're the one who touched him, her, them. It.
Her. Them, not in a non-binary way, but in a plural way.
Literally they them.
We. Yeah. Her pronouns are us, we.
I think that the talk of whether or not you're undead and like the memory thing is not going over Mary's head, but it's like he's writing a lot of that off as Miss Be Crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's Cambry's attitude towards it as well.
Because I don't know how old Cambry is. I don't know if Cambry knows.
She's 24.
All right, so we're about the same age.
Yeah.
I was thinking like Mary is happy that the healing magic worked on you, and sort of perked up and nodded in agreement when Naz said like, you know, you took care of yourself out there. You're effective. And he's not. He's still in survival mode, so your face value is the fact that you are effective, you're a good fighter, and you survived whatever the fuck happened in the mist from your own life and from what just happened to all three of us. So you are A-okay in Mary's book. Like, this is not a super sanctioned exploration for him and Nazrin.
Mm-hmm.
We are, as far as I'm aware, kind of like taking a little bit of a liberty with returning to camp to check this shit out.
Yeah, you're taking the scenic route.
So he, when he speaks again, it's after like, you know, grabbing some food from the fire or whatever, and thinks like, well, whoever you have been or are you from Barovia all of the time?
Oh. From what I can tell, yeah. Like I said, these memories are flashes. They're hazy. I don't quite understand.
You shouldn't even be able to get in the mists that much. No Barovians can.
Really?
Well,
No.
you obviously both know that the only caveat to anyone being able to set proper foot in and out of the mist, Harvestani, from the age-old curse boon that your people were granted. But I won't let you ponder that too much, because you have seen that Cambry, they can enter the mist much farther
We
than
can.
someone would be able to. But clearly there's a threshold. There's a line that even I think in Cambry's most trance-like states that you do just stop at a certain point.
Right.
This
Yeah.
understanding that like this is my barrier.
Yeah, it's
not
more
to
of a
enter the mist
feeling.
like everyone else.
Yeah, it's more of a feeling than like a hard barrier where it's like she just stops moving. It's like, this is as far as I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I think that looking back out to the mouth of the cave towards where that maybe hopefully not a dragon was, and back at Cambry, who's half mists, Mary is thinking that there's just too much going on in there. Zombies, sure. And he's saying this out loud. Zombies, sure. Us going through training, sure. Dangerous, but doable. Just fucking chilling in there, looking for stuff, or... I mean, Naz, you know where we are. Where, what region of Barovia this is. Is that fucking... God, jeez, just say it's not being hid. Whatever it is.
What are you talking about?
We're in the northern mountains, right? Yeah.
Yes, the northern the northern edges of the valley, which are more like hill footlands than they are like true mountains. Very thick woods. The northern extent of the Sphalic woods. The true greatest mountains are to the south of the Barovian Valley.
Yes, that's
Which
what I
are the snow-peaked ones of where things quite simply get weird the closer you get to those mountains.
Nazrin, you hear a male voice in your head say, "What is he talking about?"
I'm actually drawing a blank. North. I was thinking of the Amber Temple, but that's south.
It is so. Was there something specific you were trying to allude to above the table, Mike?
I thought the abbey was this way, where all the
Oh, the
undead
Abbey
were out
is
of.
west and in Crest.
Northwestern. You guys are definitely
Right.
closer to the Abbey than you are to the Southern Amber Temple, which I don't even know how much any of you would actually know about the Amber Temple, to be super honest with you guys.
I truthfully don't think Naz would know.
I can say you guys are probably on like the western half of the the northwestern area. So yeah, you're not terribly far. Well, you're far, but close enough that if you're trying to just pinpoint strange occurrences to other nearby strange anomaly, it sounds like Mayri is trying to connect dots as best he can with the Abbey, which is known to most traveling natives of Barovia, and this Mistborn dragon. It seems like Mayri really wants to believe that there's something tangible with what just happened.
Yeah, absolutely. He's even in his trips to Somnius. What he saw there, what he learned from the dragons and the monks and the druids and, just the people within that conclave. The literal physical manifestation sitting above the cave, keeping watch right now of his effort. Magic is a great many things, but you can always draw it back to something needing to be done by us. Us being the collective.
Cause and effect.
Yeah. There's cause and effect. If it exists there, it's either not from here, and if it is, it's even more terrifying. And generally speaking, since we're in like a region of heavier undead population, it's like, were it to be nefarious, hiding something
Probably
in the mists is a pretty fucking good idea.
Yeah.
If you're trying to hide something.
Especially with all the atrocities that being near Kresk, not just undead, but like abominations that probably wander from the abbot.
I think it's unique amongst you trio, and I think all of you would probably have considered the mists many things. Barriers, portals, questions, and answers, but to out loud, as Mayri's rapidly is trying to connect dots, this thinking out loud strategy is clearly going about to call it a hiding place. It's definitely the first that anybody's heard it referred to as that.
It's a pretty damn good hiding place.
Who's hiding what? Is the dragon hiding itself, if it's a real dragon?
Understanding what happened to Argynvost, if the legends are to be true, I wouldn't be surprised. If Strahd can take down a silver dragon, I think anything that may get stuck here would try to preserve itself. And seeing as not many things can go in and out of the mists even in here, I think if it can get in and it can hide, it might make a home of it.
Wait.
But
You think what we just heard has to do with Strahd? She says in like a, that is a mystical person who doesn't exist in my head, because she's just like a Barovian person.
I don't think Cambry has ever seen Strahd, heard Strahd. He really is, especially in Valakai in the past years, where the Burgermaster, up until their recent, real-time demise, has been doing everything they can to try to convince the people that maybe Strahd's like dissipated as the centuries have gone on.
Yeah.
Really just buying into the propaganda. It's
Yeah.
like suggesting Bigfoot did that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. No, it's like actually, it's like suggesting Satan did that.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm. That
like
works much
Satan.
better.
Satan isn't real and lives in that castle. That's just a myth.
And a response by you too, Vistani, as Cambry is a bit shocked to believe that you believe in Strahd.
Ambry
Hmm.
Ambry doesn't seem to have it together like that. And this kind of just confirms it for Mary, who gives Naz
Yeah.
a look and says, like,
I think she gives
I
that
haven't
same
met the
look
guy,
back,
but-
being, I don't know him personally, but
I want to paint a picture above table for you guys. Cambry is just a fairly normal Valakai citizen. Nothing exceptional about her except for this weird skin thing that she has going on, and that she's very weird and awkward and doesn't really know how to talk to people that well, but she means well. But when you saw her in action, it's almost like she didn't know how she was doing it. I want to make that clear.
This level of focus and practice martial prowess that kind of comes from somewhere else, based
Yeah.
on just how you carry yourself,
Yeah.
how you walk. Like even Mayri, not being a ranger and
This is-
Naz and a monk. No true like soldier combatants. There's a way you carry yourself, there's a way you look, a way you behave. Just martial prowess ingrained within you.
You guys are two knowledgeable Vistani soldiers with physical and magical power. You are looking at Jane from accounting. You know what I mean? Like that is the vibe that you are looking at right now.
yeah. Gotcha.
But Jane from accounting also just like went 10 rounds in the ring and knocked the opponent out. Like how did that happen?
That's definitely why Nazrin also likes you so much. Is
Yeah.
because as someone who's pretty well adjusted at this point in the story
Yeah.
and is meeting a normal Joe Schmo,
Right.
who just also rocked ass. She's impressed and intrigued by you.
So you guys talking about Strahd is literally like you guys talking about like Jesus Christ to her. You know what I mean? It's like that is not a real person. That's a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you break it to her or try to?
I definitely will. But if you had something in the chamber, but then by all means. But
No, I didn't have anything chambered about. I mean, Mary still hasn't and never has met Strahd, so it's more of a he knows that this person, that Cambry, isn't a Vistani, and so they don't have to do the work of Strahd.
mm-hmm.
They don't have to listen to Argyle, but there's a
Oh, sorry, buddy. Oopsie.
there's a feeling of like, this guy doesn't seem like this girl doesn't seem like she actually knows where she lives.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Even to the common folk, even to the common folk, they know about the
Yeah.
guy.
No, they know about Strahd. I know about Strahd. That's why she's like, "What Strahd?" But like, she doesn't. She's
Much
never
of the
seen
common
him. She's only ever
do
heard people
have a
talk
mix
about
of
him.
Belief to as strong as belief to as mild as superstition.
Yeah. That's somewhere in there, like, yeah, well, obviously we can see the castle, but like, people tell stories all the time of what could live in there. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, oh, that's Strahd, but it's like, okay, prove it.
Well, Shauna, Nazrin, do you feel like trying to educate this young woman from accounting about the devil? Or is that a conversation for a later time? It's your choice.
Honestly, I think, okay, knowing what I was preparing to say before this, I think what she will tell her is Cambry, and she wants to like go take her shoulders, and she hesitates, but puts one on your ghostly shoulder as well.
You see that same
Um,
ripple, like, sort of sway in my skin
Mhm.
when you do that.
She will take your shoulders lightly, and she will say, "There's a lot to explain if that is a question that you have, and I will happily do it for you because you need to know these things. Strahd
Uh,
is very much here and
uh,
is part of this valley and has had many dealings. The dragon, very well, as much of a theory as it could be, may be part of him as well.
what?
But
How? He's a person,
hold
not a
on."
dragon.
She puts her hand up really quick, but she does say
I need
there
to
are
Shush, like, shush, 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 shush.
because like knowing that you already have the question about
Yeah.
Strahd, she's very fully expecting you to ask like 6 million
Yeah.
questions, and that's not to be disparaging, but she gives you a moment of like, okay, calm down. I will answer your questions.
Was not
But
just was only calm.
we have questions about the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
You have questions about Strahd,
Mm-hmm.
and we have questions about you
Mm-hmm.
that you've been trying to answer yourself. And she looks out to the
Right.
mouth of this cave where I don't know if we can tell how the day is going on, but I think I know someone who may help us with all of these questions.
Okay.
And she looks to Myri. Um,
Him?
Mary.
Mary, sorry. Him.
Why haven't you spoken up then?
She looks to Mary and she says, with all of what's just gone on, I think Madame Eva could help us if
Have I heard of
you're
Madame
willing.
Eva?
No.
Okay.
If you had questions about Strahd, we haven't heard of that.
Yeah. I want to make it clear. I've heard of Strahd. I just didn't think he was real.
Yeah, so she tells Myri that, you know, I think Ava would be a boon with all the questions that we have surrounding our circumstance with the dragon, with our new friend.
Yes,
It's worth a shot, I guess. I mean, no, she kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies sometimes.
Ugh. I've only met her like once or twice, but she also gives me the heebie-jeebies. But she's an incredible seer, and she's, I would say, don't tell her this, but almost as old as the valley. um, so she's definitely got a lot of knowledge, and I think if we can get there in one piece, we can get a lot of questions answered about the dragon, possibly, or whatever it was, and Cambry, I think maybe you don't need to keep wandering the mists aimlessly to find some answers. What do
If
you all
you say so. Hopefully. Won't have to. Won't
dusk
ha-
is upon you all.
Hopefully won't have to have you guys keep showing up and snap me out of it.
Dusk is upon you. I think it was on the back half of the day before this rest to begin with. So this forced short rest, I think would, to be honest, properly just become the early start of a long rest, unless traveling through the nighttime in Barovia is something that excites you all in your current state.
We're not
In the
stupid.
in the
I'll
conversation
be back one sec.
in the conversation of traveling to Madame Eva, that would be roughly 2 days and a little bit of change from where you are right now. Which we certainly will do. And the, again, overall excitement and best point, I think, of this is I'm not going to have anyone do grid-style combat in 2 days of travel, given the real points of this session. But there will be interactions, and that is just what occurs when you travel in Barovia from one place to another. It's impossible to go totally unhindered or unencountered, so we will be able to see what the road has to offer you all in your 2 days of travel from the mouth of this cave in the northwestern area of the valley all the way down southeastern edge of the valley, essentially, to the Stani camp outside Barovia village, looking for answers. This miniature expedition just to the edge, the circumference of the valley, leading to far more questions than answers. The mists that were once portrayed as very particular barriers, entryways, exits, portals to you have quickly opened up much more questions to what greater purposes they have or hide. So, that being said, the next day begins, and the three of you set off, again from the area that you are in, around the edges of the valley, ideally to reach back to the Sphalic road to most quickly get to the camp of Stani outside Barovia village. It only takes, like I said, about 2 days of travel. So, the travel goes smoothly at first for you all, just as you navigate the woods around the edge of this and through the foothills. The occasional glimpse of Lake Zarevik to the south being seen, until eventually you will reconnect with the road proper. In this first primary day of travel, well, things are largely uneventful, as you all know how to be on the lookout for some dangers, avoid what is needed, and have the intelligence that it takes to, well, be as strong as you all are in this Valley of Horrors. Continuing on, it is, for anyone who has a passive perception, I'm going to say like 15 and up, which might be several of you.
I do.
Yep.
Who very clearly notice first the sound, maybe some 50 to 60 meters off into the edge of the woods. Then the look, upon focusing on it, of these two shadows prowling through. And then the smell, for the most perceptive of you, of this canine fur. Does Cambry have a 15 passive perception? Oh no, Marty might not have been back yet. I thought I heard him sit back down. Oh no.
I am now back, but I did hear everything.
Cool.
I do have a 15 passive perception, but also, like, I feel like Weapon of Warning would maybe help me with that as well.
Yeah, what specifically does Weapon of Warning say? How does it alert
Okay,
you?
maybe not. It gives me advantage on initiative rolls. In addition, any of your companions within 30 feet of you can't be surprised except when incapacitated by something other than non-magical sleep.
Okay. It's your call. You do have a passive 15, but I do think that within the distance, what does this weapon do to help you to become aware of these hulking figures?
I think it just starts to kind of hum. Just vibrate ever so slightly. Not enough that it makes it hard to use, but just enough that I'll notice it.
And
you know
not
what I mean?
enough to alert things that could be nearby and have the reverse effect.
Yeah.
Well, my friends, it is what you might expect, given the sights, the sounds, and the scent, as through these lumbering trees, noticed by you, are these two lurching lichen, these werewolves, moving through the underbrush, about, like I said, 50, 60 meters off. They do not detect you at this moment. Or at least they don't seem to be making any sign that they do. Whether the wind luckily be in your favor or Your own senses, perhaps, are even keener than these beasts. But you all detect them one way or another. How would you like to proceed?
Nazrin, I think, is the eldest and more the catalyst of this initial expedition to like go get Cambry again and bring them back. I think she might be up front and start by like military motioning to stop. And can I tell? I can see them, right? So I can see what direction they're in. Like I know where they are.
You guys can't make them out in great detail at this distance. Only again the kind of the silhouettes, the smell, the sounds, and the context clues given your experience in the valley. That very few things that these collective pieces make up other than werewolves.
Okay.
You hear a male voice in your head say, "What should we do?"
It takes everything in Nazrin to not yelp out of the surprise of that continuing to happen.
But you look at Cambry's looking at you like she's talking to you. You know what I mean?
Cool. Then
Mayri is not.
I want to make it above table.
Awesome.
Above table, I want to make it abundantly clear this is the message cantrip, which means you can reply.
You can reply to this message. Yeah, I think having that happen a few times already, and knowing the situation they're in, she takes a big deep breath and speaks quietly.
You can reply. You can reply without saying it out loud.
Telepathically.
Oh, great. Well then, yeah, she tells you what she sees, and she asks if you guys see it too. She wants to make sure that everyone is aware. And if you do, then, which you do,
Cambry nods at you.
she'll ask, I think if we can work our way around these guys, we have a better chance of getting much further away. But we could take them.
Cambry jerks her head to Mayri, and then Mayri hears a male voice in his head saying, "What do you think we should do? Sneak around them or take them?"
As soon as you flick your head, I know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And I just very quickly, I just like wave my hands and like shush to Myri, like.
Because Mike, Mayri just watched them just kind of stare at each other, and then yes, you. But
She like waves her hands in her face like shh.
You're magically inclined. You've traveled with many others. The message cantrip is not new to you. It being a different voice than the caster is new to you.
I am a spellcaster. The different voice thing gets me. I'm like looking around, looking at the werewolves to see if it's like, do they see us? Or is this like an intimidation tactic?
Cambry's got that look on her face like prompting you to respond, like, you know?
But then I see that, and Naz telling me not to freak out, and I'm like, I respond, 2 faces, 2 voices. Okay.
Oh, right. I kind of forgot.
Sneak around. Don't need to fight if we don't have to.
I'm with that.
I'd like to, especially you, Mayri, would know in your particularly skilled guard duties when it comes to werewolves. It's much more than just fighting large wolves. Werewolves, fighting them comes with a very high risk. If you know what I mean, awesome. If you're unsure of what I mean by that, I'll happily have you.
Oh no. I know what happens if you fight a werewolf and you're not well constituted. No, so. I am all about staying out of sight and moving. Besides, we're a party of 3. 2 werewolves would be kind of a tall order.
Yeah.
All right.
And where there are 2, there are more. They are pack animals.
Very well.
I say that to Cambry as well. I say they're pack animals. There has to be more. Stay quiet. Stay low. Keep moving.
Good. Seeing
Stealth-
that
stealth it
everyone's
is.
on the same page, Nazrin will give a nod to everyone, and start the sneaking path around.
Yeah.
But also keeping up the perception of, are there others as pack animals?
Would you like
Like
to
two
roll a
maybe-
perception?
Yeah, as we go around, I would like to see if we
Yeah.
end up seeing more.
You can definitely try to see what else is around. That's a great insight by Mary about the pack tactics of werewolves. You obviously all get to tell me particularly how you'd like to go about your stealthy proceeding. You know, at base, we'll obviously do some stealth checks, but you tell me if there's more you want to do, proceeding or during such things.
Eric, can you check
Um,
your DM on
Yep.
Roll20?
That is all good, Marty.
Okay, cool.
But yeah,
I got a dirty 20 on the perception.
okay.
And for my stealth,
Do we have I know that we're still operating on the like we have very little supplies train, right?
Yeah, you guys,
I got a
if you've
17
chosen
on the
all
stealth.
your stuff, you can have all that stuff right now. And if you use like a potion or a spell scroll or something, it can be replenished for the actual mini arc. So you don't have to pretend you don't have those things.
I was just wondering if I should prep Goodberry or not, because right now I have Purify Food and Drink, but if like this is the travel spell list,
Mhm.
you know.
I think if Goodberry would have been on your travel spell list and you knew, okay, we're heading to the Barovia Vistani camp, that's about 2.5 days from here. If that's what you would normally do for travel and you didn't have a ton of rations, then I think it makes sense that you would have it.
Yeah. All right.
But dirty 20 on the perception. I'm gonna say, overall, you guys start to try to move stealthily forward. Everyone can roll stealth checks. Let me know what they get. You still can
I
feel
got a
free to
17.
have. Yep. If anyone else wants to do any level of spell casting, actions, anything that affects, the overall planning as you proceed forward, that's fine. But at the very base, everyone's gonna make a stealth check. So 17 for Nazrin, great.
My
And a dirty
perception.
20 perception.
My perception is an 18. No.
Okay.
Yeah, my perception's an 18. My stealth is a 7.
Okay.
Bruh.
Cambry, you also will do a base stealth check unless you have ways to adjust such things. And if you want to take any other kind of action or skill check, you also may.
Could I make this for someone else?
I'm realizing. Hold on. One sec.
Mm.
Why is that gone?
Let me know if we can help with anything too.
Oh wait, I figured it out. There we go.
Really like the new tokens, how they like look so much better and like kind of come out of their tokens a little bit. Anyway,
Okay.
like for the werewolves.
Stealth, you said?
I see. Yeah.
Stealth and any other like action based.
Wait, why is it? Hold on. It's still rolling with disadvantage, even though I removed that.
I mean, disadvantage aside, the first roll.
Wait, I
15.
figured out why. There we go.
Too bad, because the second roll was a 20, but
Yeah.
the first dice roll is still the 15 anyway. So
Alright, I
a
fixed it.
15, a 7, and a 17. Perception check by Nazrin, and seemingly no other actions chosen to be taken by Cambry or Mary. But Nazrin, as a monk, steps between twigs and branches and puddles. Nary a sound escaping her steps. If you could not see her, you would not have known she was there. Cambry with a 15 follows deftly behind her, mimicking her placings of feet, and is able to go by just as quietly. Mary, you are not inexperienced in the wilds. Tell me exactly what it looks like as you get a 7 on your stealth check and are not that stealthy.
I think that the not being necessarily surprised by the message cantrip, but the second voice in particular, and he's just kind of, I don't want to say distracted, but his thoughts go from like, this chick's got even more going on. She's got this ghost brother, not brother. It talks now too. Oh shit, where's Argo? Is he flying up above the trees? And he's like, also his perception was an 18, so he's still trying to keep an eye out for other werewolves, and he just misses like a root, takes a stumble, maybe kicks a rock into this river.
All right. I think that works, and we are gonna go ahead and see. Um, just from a passive perception standpoint, these werewolves rear their heads. They lurk more forward, some handful of meters through the tree line, much more visible for you all are clearly hearing this thud. We'll roll to see how much they can truly detect the direction. But Nazrin, on that perception, what you were already trying to detect, both of you, if there's more werewolves. Thankfully, you do not detect other werewolves. You're checking your flanks, you're checking above, behind. You even are intelligent or wise enough to know that you shouldn't just be looking for wolfish bodies, but even other humanoid bodies, as these are shape changers. And lo and behold, there are not, at least from what you can tell, any others. This is simply 2 werewolves traveling. But what you do notice in your searching for an additional form, and especially as these werewolves lurk into view, is that these things were clearly on the hunt. And the prey that dangles from one of their maws is not an elk or a moose or some other woodland animal, but the limp, pale body of a small child.
Oh.
Don't fucking play with me right now.
Oh no.
Eric, I swear to God.
No way you're dropping, like, main campaign lore right now.
Eric, I swear to God.
It is a young girl clearly dangling from the maw of this werewolf.
Okay.
Yes, the final child you're looking for in the main campaign is a boy. Let's just get out of there.
Woo!
God.
Saved.
Oh shit. Okay, is she clearly dead? I care way less. Like...
There's not movement that you can see. An 18 is exceptional, but this thing and the faint signs of life you would probably have to look for go beyond at 50 meters something you could detect.
Okay.
And we're gonna go ahead and roll 2 perception checks from the lichen.
Can I tell if like this little girl is a Vistani at all? If she's in the woods, or is she just like?
She is not black.
I was gonna say, is she white? Like, who is she?
Yes.
Wow, way to say that in such a PC way. Is this person a Vistani?
Yeah, right.
One of these wolves, because we'll just use both those rolls because it went advantage, is clearly unable to detect the source of this thud. And one of them very clearly has a direction in mind. The one holding the limp child remains put, and the forward one of them starts striding, not at a sprint, but at a clear increased pace. We'll say they get about 20 feet closer to you all, and though they cannot see you from the efforts you were putting to stay low, it is very clear to all of you in your wisdoms that this thing knows exactly where that sound came from. It'll be a matter of moments before it is upon you all.
Mary pulls out what to you, Nazrin, is his familiar-looking pipe with that crystal topper on the end. You know this is his spellcasting focus, and he gives you a look. He's like attempting to back up, but he's ready to go for this if we don't think we can get away fast enough. Do we? And he looks to you and stage whispers, stand our ground, or are we just fucking booking it?
I'm curious too, as we again have the fun of navigating the mindsets of your new characters. Obviously, Mary is sticking to business at the sight of a dead child. I'm curious what our other party members think. Where does logic go or stay when it comes to seeing something like a murdered kid?
I think Mary's seen enough as a well-traveled and, highly skilled guard and member of the Vistani. And specifically as a healer. He is a very competent magical healer.
Unfortunately, this is not your first injured or deceased child. You were right.
And he
Does that
knows
make it
that he
easier,
can't-
harder?
It sucks, but he also knows he can't cure lycanthropy, so he's writing them off either way.
I understand.
He is more concerned about keeping himself and his companions alive. That is what he does.
Cambry?
Naz.
I think Cambry is horrified and just wants to be out of this situation.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Ready to follow the lead of these two clearly trained individuals.
Yeah.
Nazrin, seeing all of this, and first off, noticing Cambry begin to want to get the fuck out of here, so I'm assuming is like getting nervous. Having not really seen this, Nazrin does the leadership thing that she has had to do many times in ferrying people, and just puts her two fingers up to her eyes, like, watch me, don't watch anything else, like, just look at me.
Eyes on me, got it.
Eyes on me. You bastard, considering what the fuck she did in Perez.
That hasn't happened yet.
No, I know, but the fact that it's a dead kid.
Wait, what?
That's it.
Remember
I
when
think
Shauna stabbed a kid
killed a
4
kid.
months from now?
Oh, yeah.
And there's a seemingly dead child or injured child, and making the choice of trying to save her. But the problem is, that's the same point I thought
isn't
of,
it-
Mike.
Isn't it funny how things line up?
Right? So, thinking of the same point of, but if she gets lycanthropy, we still can't fucking do anything. She's dead either way. Nazrin keeps going. And
In the face of the horrors of
she
this
looks
valley.
at another path and begins to take the. Actually, ooh,
Is this a stealthy
hold on.
retreat, or are we
no,
beating
hold
feet?
on. I'm going to really quickly, because this thing knows our area. Nazrin's gonna pick up a rock and kind of give it the glance to Myri of I can toss this in another direction and make it go that way, and then we beat feet kind of thing. But
How mundane. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's a classic maneuver.
Yeah,
You don't need
I was
to be
gonna say, it's worked
highly
before.
magical to try to distract something with sound. But Mary does raise a good point that I'd like to think you guys would able to communicate silently in a few moments of your experience. Nazrin, is this an attempted stealthy retreat, or is this a sprint?
this is still a stealthy retreat. If I can if I can throw this rock and distract it and have it go a different direction,
Can
it will
I?
be off of our path. So I think it will know immediately where we are again if it hears us, and we still can't outrun wolves. So I think this only comes down to stealth and keeping that going if we can.
Can I take out my sort of mundane-looking pipe, and when Nazrin throws the rock, use my once-a-day fog cloud spell on where it lands? Like
Yeah,
between us and where it
absolutely.
lands?
Nazrin, you
Hurl
throw
a
a rock,
rock.
and it absolutely makes this thudding noise off to the side, and with your dexterity and your high, clearly being detected in the brush by this werewolf. So I guess it comes down to how well the werewolf is tricked by this trick. So this is probably going to be, God, is this just a wisdom? Honestly, is this just a wisdom check? Maybe we just do. I think there's a high chance that it could be, or higher that it could be than it couldn't be.
If it's about being tricked, would it be intelligent or?
Is it weird of me to think that this is another stealth check?
Or deception?
Or
because we're
deception?
tricking it?
Well, I think
Deception,
I think
falls
it might
more being
be.
deception being a more charisma-based skill. I think falls more with like verbal communication
Mm.
or actions.
Could this
Um,
be animal handling as I throw it? As someone who's like,
no,
I will probably be
I'm not gonna make you
distracted.
roll to say whether or not you effectively throw a rock and create a sound dozens of feet away. You do that.
Alright.
It's whether or not this werewolf, moments from reaching a spot that he heard another thud, keeps on or is properly distracted by this trick. So
Well,
whenever
I
you
mean,
are
the
aware,
fog cloud also appears where the other sound.
Okay, all right, that affects things. Okay, so this rock lands some dozens of feet away, and as it happens, you see Cambry, in whatever way you'd like to describe Marty, casting and erupting from where that rock lands is this swirl of thick mist. So there's this clear, the werewolves' heads clearly turn towards this distinct visual apparition that has caught their attention. This is gonna be very in your favor. Let's see. We're disadvantage is effective here, and a 12, it does not pass. The clear distraction that may have been harder and nothing more sound, but a clear mass of a visual apparition is signifying to these things that something is there. Does take the werewolf sharply away, and even the one that had stayed back sprints after its companion, the child just banging and skidding over rocks and bramble, just a total ragdoll, clearly depicting the question you were all wondering was, is that thing alive? Is that child alive? And if it is, it's unconscious or it is simply not. As these things race by your spot, and you can unfortunately see just how maimed this kid is.
I do want to add a bit of flavor on the casting of this. So, like I said, Cambry pulls out like a very sort of mundane, sort of straight looking pipe. There's nothing extravagant about it. Very quietly lights a match, and instead of like she takes a enormous sort of puff of this and then just breathes it all out, and there is far more smoke than was probably in her body that comes breathing out, that sort of slowly passes into the area where you threw this rock, and you can kind of vaguely make out shapes of soldiers sort of fighting. And as they start to fight, it becomes just a cloud of fog again. And you see Cambry, like, it catches her eye. Like, she's like, wait, what was that? You know, like she looks at it like that, but then realizes, like, it's gone within a moment, and then we have to get out of there.
A unique ability that spurs from your newfound strange companion with just as much surprise seemingly on their face, which I think both of you be perceptive enough to see, even though it's their magic that they're casting. Before, yes, with all that you had done, even with the unfortunate stealth rolls, with Nazrin leading the way, you three are able to make a swift perimeter around these very successfully distracted werewolves and continue onward. And the rest of this first day of travel is fortunately uneventful. I think overall you'd be on a much higher alert than you were already, especially with your fear that more of these things can always be around, though fortunately they are not. What will inevitably happen here is we'll eventually long rest and proceed the next day of travel, and it is up to you three how much you think either during travel or during this first long rest you might question, communicate, or so on or so forth before we proceed to the next day, with the goal, of course, to reach Madame Ava.
I know there's a few things that a long rest Nazrin would want to talk to Cambry about.
I think during the day there's probably a quiet hour or two after the werewolf encounter, but there's kind of a darkness over Mary after that, where it's just like processing grief in a very compartmentalized and unhealthy way. Where
Is
it's
that
like,
something? Oh, go ahead.
you can easily read it on his face. He's just upset, disappointed. Doesn't know the person, the little girl, but just another thing that, he couldn't help. He does his best, but this land is so fucked. Strahd is so fucked. You know that he kind of thinks Mary doesn't like living in Barovia.
Hmm.
Mary thinks their lot in life sucks across the board for everybody. And knowing that there are other planes where it doesn't suck as much, he hates it here. You know that about him. That's why he does what he does. That's what he wants to protect as many of his people as he can from everything that sucks about Barovia. And he also never wants to live here. He wants to leave and never come back. And he can leave. He doesn't know why he has to come back. He's gone on two excursions, and he's tried to prolong it every time.
Would either of your characters? I was gonna say, you say seeing, so go
seeing
ahead.
your reaction after that and having an hour or two to get by, I'm sure that's a look I've probably seen before. Nazrin would stick closer by your side, and say and ask, "Do you want to talk about it this time?"
I mean, what's there to say? She was dead before they got to us. It's just, you go from too many undead, a random girl standing in the mists, a fucking secret dragon, werewolves eating kids. She doesn't know about Strahd, and she lives in Barovia. This is Barovia, Cambry. I don't know what you remember or what you forget, but everything about it sucks.
Yeah, I've kind of got that vibe.
And it's because of Strahd.
Right.
Nazrin nods her head in agreement but doesn't say anything, and she kind of looks up and around in the trees of like, okay.
Concerned about cursing Strahd aloud in the woods.
Whoa! Curse of Strahd!
Yes.
Roll credits!
Oh, name drop!
Roll the credits!
She would do that silent agreement with you, but still know what he is, because she
You see
has
no
seen
bats,
him.
you see no ravens, you see no faces or twisting apparitions. Not to say that there could not ever be some spy of the devil lurking, but the obvious things Nazrin's looking for, you do not see.
Great.
This
in
is
that
this
case,
is
then.
this is a moment of real difference between Nazrin and Mary, where I think that, in the Vistani camp, to say Strahd's name is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
To be alone out here, and Mary's still
curse it.
on about how much it sucks here.
Mhm.
I think you realize that, this is he's kind of punching down on Cambry, not knowing anything about Strahd or thinking it's a myth, despite he's never seen Strahd, he's never met Strahd. He doesn't have that has looked down the barrel of a gun fear about him.
I guess, actually, I have a more meta question then. Something I didn't think about. Nazrin has seen Strahd before. It was a fleeting moment, but, like, she saw him, like, 20
That's
years
right.
ago in camp.
When you were
I'm
a
sure
child.
that's something I would have told Mary at some point. You know what I mean? So I believe that would be that contextual of, but I have seen him kind of thing, where I don't disagree with you. But she not necessarily has stared down the barrel of the gun, but has put an actual memory of a tangible night, like a day, to the myth that has been going on. Like, it he is real, and these things are real because of him. So, in that, I guess she would respond to you of, she would respond with, I feel the same. It's terrible. And it's only going to keep getting worse as the centuries go on. Unless something can be done about it. But we have to take that day by day.
Done about it?
Ooh, I guess I did let that one go.
I think you fully are looking at the face of someone who just heard you say, "I think something needs to be done about the devil." You know?
She looks to you and says, man, this is actually really hard.
What? Trying not to meta knowledge when you're playing a different character with knowledge of things in the future, but also you're 4 months ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm also another separate character.
Right. Yeah.
I think if there's a bit of a dissonance between these timelines and these characters and these knowledges, it can be as simple as a Vistani wishing that something could be done about it. Nazrin, you remember that first time you saw Strahd 20 years ago was also a time that you, again, have a childhood memory of another adventuring party from beyond the mists who came and were making very clear indications, even in your childhood memory, that they were going to try to help the valley. They were going to try to take on Strahd. They were seen in that camp just some days after Strahd was seen in the shadows speaking to your leaders. And that party was never seen again nor heard of again. You know.
But she certainly knows the tales, so she hopes something can be done about it, though she's not actively openly saying, I'm gonna do something about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what she was meaning, was like, she agrees so much with how Mayri is feeling, because as someone who protects people, she even says to, like, regarding the little girl too, to not let that slide, that we're all Barovians, and we're all suffering. So
Mary's defiance is infectious, it seems, even out here in the spies of Strahd could be anywhere.
But what she would say to you, Cambry, about something being done about the devil, like maybe, she will essentially just give you a short recap that I do plan on expanding more later, if you have questions. But she will tell you that the Count has resided over this land for centuries, and though with it at the time there could have been prosperity, the years have not been kind to those who are under his reign. And maybe one day that won't be the case anymore. But for now, all we can do is do what we can, day by day, by people. Unfortunately, sometimes we can't. But that doesn't mean we stop trying. And she looks at Myri sternly, but like as a big sister stern of like, but like, remember what we do. Like, we do help people. There are some, like, trying to get you to see on the bright side of it. Like, we do good things for this valley.
I get it. I know. Just sometimes you're reminded that it's never enough.
With that, the march goes on. Whether some of that conversation was on the road during the long rest, probably some of both. The following day of travel, you're able to get out of the woods and the foothills and reconnect with the proper roads that lead to the... Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry. I thought that was still like on the walk, like during the day. I
Both.
did want to do something at a long rest with Cambry. I do apologize.
Okay.
I think that
Pick
this
up my
second day of
backpacking.
travel, given your guys' perceptive nature and your experience again, and maybe even just a bit of luck, goes smoothly. And so the second long rest, which would be the one that, the next day, you'll ideally make it to the Vistani camp. Could absolutely be when such a conversation could happen if you would like, Shauna.
Sure. Okay. You know what? That's a good time that we could use it too.
Which we are is what I'm trying to say.
Woohoo!
By skill and a bit of luck, the first long rest goes by, those conversations are had, the second day of travel is smooth. And you know that after this rest, this final evening, hold up in whatever nook of Barovia you can find, come the back half of the next day, you should reach the Vistani camp of Barovia village. What would you like to talk to Cambry about, Nazrin?
At this long rest, she would go sit by Cambry and say, yesterday, when you used your pipe,
Mm-hmm.
to really quickly clarify, did only Cambry see something in the smoke, or could we all see
No, you
those
could all see it.
soldiers in the smoke?
You could all
You
see
could
it.
all
Good.
see it.
Yep.
Great. We were all surprised to see what was coming out of your pipe there for a moment, and it seems like something you were trying to grasp onto there in your little scrambled noggin.
Hey. She's a little offended.
She gives you a little nudge in the elbow. And you're like, come on, like, you know you're weird.
Oh my god.
Hey, this is before Nazrin is a depressed
I know.
piece of shit.
I know, yeah.
She's actually a
Ah.
well-adjusted person right now.
Cambry is just kind of
So
like she's kind of giggling, but she's like, yeah. I'm not really sure what that was. I mean, I've had stuff like that happen before. It seems that, you know, when I smoke, it kind of sometimes the shapes just form that kind of resonate with the memories that I don't have. She does air quotes. And sometimes I see things like that, but that was a new one.
Do you think you could do it again, but this time get your brother, spirit out to witness it too? Maybe you guys can piece some things together? Like connect the dots.
I mean, he saw it too. I know he saw it because he is me.
Right. He is you.
He doesn't need to be, as you put it, out to experience things, really. It's more of an extension of myself. But also he's his own person. But also he has no control. She just continues to kind of ramble on about like the descriptors of like how
like
how she thinks this works, but it doesn't work really.
It's like I, Shonda, know exactly what you're trying to get at, but
You're
now
right.
I'd be like, this is so over
Right,
my fucking head.
yeah, and Cambry goes on and on about like explaining qualifiers of how it works, but she also like fully doesn't really understand it either.
I think then Nazrin would say, well, if you've had some of these flashes before, have you been able to piece any of them together? Do any of them make a sequence that makes sense? Could you keep trying?
I think the only thing that I've really been able to glean from them is that it's not my life that I've lived, but it does feel like a memory that is taking a physical form.
Would it be his life you lived? Referring to
Yeah, I mean,
you?
maybe, but it also is mine. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, it's not the life that I have physically lived, but it feels like I have lived some of these things.
Would Nazrin? Would Nazrin? She knows about the count, and does she know more of the specifics of the curse? Like, does she know like a Tatiana reincarnation is like a 100-year thing?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
You get superstition level knowledge right now. You have to go through a lot more trauma in a few months before you learn a lot more.
I guess I'll have new trauma to learn that lesson.
Yeah.
Okay, then I guess then, I mean, how possible do you think it is for reincarnation to be grasped quickly? As like a concept, trying to help her figure out answers even before we reach Eva.
What does Nazrin know about reincarnation at this stage of the game as a Vistani of a higher level? I think that Nazrin is aware from overall Vistani teachings that souls do behave differently in this valley. There are elders that speak of persons that have been born, died, and other similar versions, and personalities and such coming through. And an understanding of the mist, especially passed down in like long Vistani knowledge, because obviously the original Vistani didn't live in the mist, wasn't here. So, you know what? Let's just roll. Roll me a history.
Sure. I'm just gonna keep going down
no
the
matter
dice
what
list
you roll,
here.
you know a bit. We're just gonna see how much you really know.
This is gonna be a flat roll. I get nothing to history.
Sounds
I
like
can't
you
read
rolled
that
it.
number. It's an 11.
Souls do recycle here. You know that
Okay.
from just ancient Vistani teachings.
I thought that was gonna be much higher.
I think it's again because of just the innate level of knowledge that is passed down to Vistani.
I thought that 11 wasn't gonna work.
You do know that souls do. They can't go. They don't seemingly go to an afterlife because there's no gods that answer anyone here. There are no clerical Vistani. You do know that souls return from the mists. You've learned that from elders from Luvash. It's more common knowledge than you would think. It's the greater details that's not common knowledge. At least amongst the Vistani, it's more common knowledge.
Okay then, so I wouldn't be remiss in suggesting that, but I'm going to obviously say to her, it sounds like the unfortunate tale of the your soul getting stuck, recycled, used again in this valley, if it's died before. But it still seems, from everything you're saying, still othered. Does that make sense?
She's so wide-eyed
There's
right
still
now.
something
The thought
else
of
going
the
on.
thought, like, she's so wide-eyed. Where I feel like maybe this is something that she's thought about before, but she's had no knowledge basis to kind of cling to. Where she's like,
But now
I
that
mean,
someone's confirming a theory.
yeah, like that sounds like it could be a possibility, but then who is this? And my brother phases out of me again.
I ask it, who are you?
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
And Azrin pouts.
It would be like asking myself that. But they're not the same. They're not. Pointing at my brother. This isn't like a past life of mine. If that were to be what we're talking about.
That's what I mean, is with this whole soul recycling that happens here, it kind of would be a past life. It's a soul and it's one person passed down to another person, but you are two different people.
Right.
You know, two lives. This is different, deeper than the mists, I think. I do believe Madame Ava will be able to help answer your questions. At least some of them, or to give you a direction, but this is strange.
Camry's just kind of staring into the fire now, with like her hand on the side, like smushing her hand on the side of her face, like clearly deep in thought.
More questions raised than answered in the last 48 hours of this trio of Mistwalkers joining.
And I think you see like my brother spirit. He's just kind of pacing back and forth next to the fire, as if he's thinking as well.
Mm-hmm. You know what? So he can't talk to me, but like he is obviously aware of everyone.
Not quite, Shauna. From what you said, Marty, this thing, even when it's out, it's able to mimic Cambry.
Mm-hmm.
It is not two autonomous people where one's
Okay,
scratching its
sorry.
head, one's sitting down. Like
It
it's
kind of
like-
can do that. It kind of
Like
can
a
do that.
mirror.
It's not entirely a
Okay.
mirror. It kind of can act on its own. But
True,
it's
I
not
mean, in combat
it's
especially.
it's not sentient. You know what I mean?
Okay. Nazrin was
that's-
gonna
It doesn't
go,
it
like,
doesn't
brick wall
seem
that-
it doesn't seem like it's acting on its own volition almost. You know what I mean? It's
If
almost like a
Nazrin tried to
mimicking
speak
the
to it-
mindset of Cambry.
Any attempt
I
Nazrin
see
would
what you
make
mean.
over the Eve to try to speak to it as if this thing is its own person because of the descriptions and the theories, there really is nothing you're able to glean because this apparition can't communicate or interact with you like a person, and you
Right.
learn that very quickly. Maybe Nazrin gets
Totally get it.
creative with
I
this or
think-
that or these things, but
I
I was
think
gonna
on a
go
tu-
try and,
on an
like,
intuitive
communicate and
level,
introduce myself.
on an
I can't
intuitive
talk,
level, I think on an intuitive instinctual level, when you try to interact with it, it feels like you are interacting with Cambry.
but- Okay. You go both get off the same vibe.
Yeah.
not even just the
Then
vibe,
understood.
like no,
Then-
like literally like Cambry. Like
Yeah.
there's one driver of two cars right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Which is funny because her herself is essentially two drivers of one car. You know?
mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Sean.
leaving you to, yeah.
We're gonna keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
This has been longer than I anticipated.
We started
Really?
about 25 minutes later than I wanted to, but I still want to make progress.
I get
so
it.
I have to pee.
Unless, Mike,
Hold
obviously you've been very patient and quiet. If you have any commentary on, this day and this long rest, of course you may make one. But otherwise, I'd excitedly push us forward to the Vistani camp. Are you there, Mike?
Uh-oh.
It's not impossible. Our friend may have fallen asleep. I know it's happened before. Unless you can hear us and we just can't hear you, Mike. All right.
I'll message him really quick in the...
I mean, when in doubt,
Mike.
we can make this a two-parter.
Yeah. I mean, well, if our friend has fallen asleep, we will have to. I mean, as we get close
Yeah.
to 9, if he's at the point where he's falling asleep, being like, okay, hang on for the 25-30 minutes would be tough for full engagement.
Mhm.
We did start a little late, and I've loved the RP and the interaction, but I think this will probably be a two-parter. But I'll still, Mike.
I'll add him in the Curse of Strahd chat, see if it pings his phone.
That maybe. I have a feeling his headset's on his face. Mike. Mike. Mike.
Oh no.
Mike.
Michael.
I think the Cambry Nazrin dynamic is exactly what I was hoping for.
Sorry, was I
Me
getting triggered
too.
at?
What's that? I'm
Was
happy
you-
to hear you're back. I thought maybe you fell asleep.
No, I was looking for an e-reader for Kelsey, but it's missing.
Okay. Sorry. Happy to hear you didn't fall asleep then.
We'll push forward unless you had any more questions
Yeah,
at the campsite, but
I was concerned you'd fallen asleep, and I was gonna be like, okay, if he's fallen asleep, we should make this a two-parter. If you guys are down to keep pushing a bit, I would happily try to bring us as far as we comfortably can.
Sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Mary's his travel persona, just the like surviving by the skin of their teeth one day and then being reminded of the horrors of Barovia the next. He uh, is just feeling, feeling noticeably and acting noticeably. I don't want to say happier, but like comfortable when they reach the main road and when they start making their way to Madame Eva's, despite kind of, the heebie-jeebies of her reputation. It's still familiarity that brings him comfort.
The traveled road, the age-old sign of people, of civilization, of connection, makes even the horrors of Barovia a little bit more human than having to literally wade through the woods in between death and the murdered. And the travel goes on. And that second evening, and those conversations had, again, unique insights raised, but just as many questions without answers alongside them as the party truly are seeking those answers from the seer Madame Eva. And as the day winds on and you are reaching the late afternoon, you do reach through the tree line, through the roads, the edges of the Barovia village Vistani. Edges being the operative word, because as you approach a Vistani male, who is dressed entirely as you would expect in colors, in presentation, but in armor, approaches very abruptly in front of you all, very overtly, and cries out, "Up! Hold right there! Get a little too close for comfort. Far ways from Valakai, aren't we, friends? And Mary, I want you to roll me a insight at advantage, or survival, perhaps. I'm looking for kind of a tactical knowledge here. Do you have a skill that would match such a thing?
Is correct me if I'm wrong. There are two Barovian camps or two Vistani camps in Barovia.
Correct.
So this is the one that I don't live at.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think survival then, because I wouldn't know this person that well to make it an insight check.
Okay, then let's do survival at advantage.
That's gonna be a big one. I think my mod is +7,
Nice.
so 25.
Before anyone can respond, whether you're at the western or the eastern camp, Vistani and Barovia, you, an experienced guard, know this tactic. This is a very by-the-books strategy that Vistani employ, utilizing their very unique, friendly demeanors, but awareness that danger is present. This strategy being that one Vistani guard will approach very over the top, overtly, no attempt to hide from the front, so that the other two guards circling to the left and right can remain hidden, waiting for a signal to either leave or attack.
Mm.
You recognize this pattern immediately, Mary.
Mary will, he's, doesn't have his sword out. He's not, traipsing through the woods or not sword in hand or anything like that. So buckler, shield on one arm, another arm, both up, hands open, placating gesture.
Mm-hmm.
We're simply hungry and tired. You and I are the same, brother. You can tell the other two sneaking on the left and the right that we're no harm. We're two Vistani, as you can see, and a curious companion who just need to lay their heads and are hoping for an audience with Madame Eva.
He raises an eyebrow, and there's a a sternness that takes place and then quickly overtaken by a softness.
And this guy would clock that I'm a guard. Like, the sentinel shield has an eyeball on it. He's got the horn on his belt. Like, this is a guardsman equipment. Maybe nicer than
You
he
guys are
has.
just
I don't know if
Spider-Man
he's
memeing
level,
each other right now.
but yeah, kind of Spider-Man memeing each other right now. The same.
There is particular commands that are given, meant to be subtle, so that any potential assailants would not know that they're being given. And they seem to ring true in both camps, because what the guard responded, daybreak is quite a few hours behind us. I understand that you need some respite. And Eva is always excited to entertain, especially ones of her own. The word daybreak, Mike, Mary, if used in conversation in this tactic, means for the flanking guards to stand down. If the word twilight is used in conversation with those approaching, it means to attack. So, though you do not see the guards that likely have slinked away, you know that the command has been given, and you're all welcomed to the Vistani camp of Barovia village, which, just a moment.
Yay, the Vistani.
So you're not banished from here, Nazrin?
No.
She's not
I'm-
banished
I don't think
anywhere
she hasn't been banished yet, right?
yet.
No. Guys, I'm well adjusted right now. This is the last time you're ever gonna see her happy.
Vistani are gathered in similar
Give it a
ways
season.
here as they would be, of course, at your home camp. This is not the first time either of you have been here, though it's probably been quite some years. The primary difference being that the Vistani in Valakai are much more entrenched, the tents and the structures are much more permanent. Where it seems that the Vistani here, Barovia village, their homes are on wheels. There are caravans. There are seemingly this readiness to move. Interestingly enough, because obviously your people are quite known for your expeditions and your leavings, but these Vistani seem to treat their ability to enter and leave the mists in a less structured way. But you are welcomed, and comforts are offered, food, drink, soft seats, music is playing. Slowly, of course, afternoon turns to dusk, and the Vistani who would have welcomed you would simply inform you, Madame Eva is, of course, residing in her own comforts, as she often does. We shall inform her that she has requested visitors, but it shall be twilight before she hosts anyone, as is her custom and preference. So make yourselves at home. Laugh, drink, share stories if you would like, as we're always happy to hear new ones and share old ones.
Mary
We'll
gives
summon you
Naz-
soon.
in a real moment of being unwise, somewhat out of character for Mary, sharing stories of our own being mentioned, he gives a supposed to be subtle, but probably not too subtle look to Nazrin about, like, should we talk about this before we see Madame Eva?
As in, like, discuss what you want to talk to her about, or?
Like, you know, be part of the camp, tell stories about the travel we just did. This fucking, like, secret dragon.
Yeah. No. We don't mention that. You know, we don't, no. That's not an old story. Nor do we want it to be a new story. So, no. She just shakes her head, sort of like, we keep that. Right.
Alright.
If you were to join the Vistani around the campfire, sputtering with colors and mists and apparitions dancing through them as is the customary way to tell stories accompanied by illusionary visuals, you're all more than welcome to share any tales if you have any, whether prepped or improved, about your characters and their growth, as you're all leveled characters, and of course, the Vistani here might have a story to share as well.
think
Well-
maybe not story, but at least to start, if anybody else had a story in mind, just what Nazrin would be doing is she would actually also have a more familiar sense and sit down, and she'd take out her panpipes and she would kind of start to play along, but idly. More so like listening to everyone else, but piping up when she wants to.
Give me a performance check. Nazrin.
Sure. Let me put my wine down. One moment.
Mary would do the age-old trade a story for a drink, and at this, concurrently with the pipe playing, and tell a story of his more recent trip to Somnius, where he got these sick-ass tattoos.
I got a 7.
I think
I'm doing it
Cambry
very leisurely.
Cambry is very awkwardly, like, kind of keeping to herself, fully the energy of a white person at a very cultural party.
Barbecue?
You know? Yeah, like, you got brought to the barbecue for the first time, and you're the only white person there. Like, that is her
All the
energy right now.
African-Americans in Mark.
Yeah, yeah.
Mark's rocking with
Amazing.
us.
She's just trying so hard to be respectful, but she doesn't know what that means, so she's just not doing anything.
That's so funny.
Your Panpipe 7. You know how to play the instrument, so it doesn't go badly. You at least got about
I
a
even said
5.
I was doing it idly, like not a real performance. I was more.
I think
so,
you're happily tooting root notes here and there, and that is
sure.
enough. Mary, a story for a drink. One is offered even before you share the story, and their excitement to hear of a plane traveled to one of heights and mountains and valleys, deserts and forests, civilizations of ancient magic and very new magic, and yes, these monasteries that you had visited and these tattoos that you show off. Because many of these Bastani tattoos, but not the magical kind that are a little more popular on the western side of the valley for your clan of Bastani.
And you all see, he shows off. So all of his tattoos are, there's like a bow on his right bicep, and it's like long and skinny, It's not a full archer, it's just a bow. You've seen that light up sometimes. You do know that there is magic that he can infuse with it. The one that you sort of saw after our narrow escape from the dragon, he, shows off fully, and it's just like a very fancy chalice above his pec, his left pec. Just like what you would expect on like a king's table or something like that. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
And his cup slightly runneth over. Then behind his ear, there's a small dragon tattoo where the dragon is like, the tail down by the lobe and the head up by the top of the ear, and the arms sort of hugging around the ear like the dragon is clinging on, as though it were a piece of jewelry or hitching a ride right behind his ear. Mechanically, those are his 3 starry form tattoos.
I recognize.
And then there is the piece de la resistance, the big dragon head across his back shoulders.
Sweet.
As one drink in hand and your others just excitedly pulling at every seam of your clothing to show as many of your tattoos to this awing crowd of mostly English Bastani around the fire. They are just as enthralled as you display. In Cambry, yes, you are easily able to stand off to the side as
I think
Mary,
I'm attached to the
gaining
hip
that
to
limit.
one of them. You know what I mean? Like, as you do at a party where you don't know anyone.
You're sitting like in between us,
Yeah.
not moving.
Yeah. Just being as still. If I don't move, they won't see me type vibe. Standing there with, like, the weirdest skin condition in the world.
There is an older Bastani who is observing you all happily, not creepily. um, who has your
I want your
verbal
whole
tales and your
family to eat dinner.
tattoos.
Jeez.
As your verbal tales are shared and your tattoos are displayed and the music has gone off, who steps up to the fire and just waves his hand and it grows. I have some thoughts that your artwork reminds me of. This is not a Vistani accent. I have some thoughts that your artwork reminds me of. Dragons seem to interest you, young man. And you as well. And he gestures to you and can clearly see the pokings of golden wings on your back through your sleeveless
Sleeves are bullshit.
robes. And even looking to you, Cambry,
All right.
though you seem to be much less draconic than your companions, I have a story that I think, well, is just as equally reminiscent of your unique skin tone, my pale friend.
Well, all four of us can't wait to hear this.
Camber's just kind of looking around. She doesn't. Wait, do you say that out loud?
I do say that out loud.
Camber's just kind of looking around. I feel like she looks a little embarrassed. She's just kind of looking around, like not saying anything. Like, I don't know what to say.
No, he's gonna cover for you because he'll take like a skewer of meat or whatever from the fire before this guy makes it grow and burns the shit out of it, and he just tosses it up in the air, and Argo swoops down and grabs it and takes a seat next to Mary and Naz. He's like 3 feet tall on his haunches, maybe.
It's a silver dragon, right?
Yes.
I'd like to
Ah.
split him. The little jaws.
Fate. That's a fourth similarity to the tale that I had in mind, brothers and all of us know. Hold on a second. Are you heading out, Jack? Okay. Getting home close to 10. I get you. 1 second, guys.
1 sec.
I need to do laundry.
Same.
It'll be your guys' choice after this shared tale if we push on to probably about 10 to, I think, complete Madame Eva's reading, or pause at about 9:30ish. I think that's all Elder Vistani tale will take, and meet again for the reading. But I don't anticipate much further than 10 o'clock. If you guys would, and I understand if you won't. Thank you.
Okay.
This is always the nature of these things.
I'm gonna go quickly look for that e-reader again.
That's fine. This is your first time this far east as a player, Marty.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Barovia village itself isn't that far. Well, I actually should take that back. You've literally been to Castle Ravenloft, which is farther east than here. So.
Oh, okay. Why did I think that was more like northeast than it was east?
It is northeast.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you what. We got a second if Mike's looking for something. I will go ahead and pull up.
I could just look at the map in my Curse of Strahd book that I can't read
Here.
for two years.
For 2 years.
So where Clara's token is. On this
I was
map,
right. Okay, it is northeast.
Yeah, that is Castle Ravenloft, and the N marker, below Lake Zarevic is Valakai.
Wow, we are. I thought Castle Ravenloft was closer to Valkai. I won't lie.
It's
It certainly seemed like that because of the carriage.
And then this is Argynvost, right?
that is Argynvost, yeah.
Yes.
And this is Berez.
That is Perez, yeah. I've put markers on everywhere you guys have been. Actually, that being said, I need to reveal one more marker. Let's see.
What's this?
That is the windmill or
Oh,
bone grinder.
and you guys met
Yeah,
Jaren like here somewhere.
right
Yeah.
after. Yeah.
Yep, right after the windmill.
What's this?
Wow, I haven't looked at this map in forever.
Oh, that is the Valakai Vistani camp.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And where are we right now?
You guys are
We-
at G.
No luck with the book.
Oh.
Yeah, Barovia village is further east there, and then our.
So where
party
would you
started
say?
over in
Where would you
A,
say
B, and C.
the crew encountered Cambry?
I'm gonna say it is. I can actually reveal that as well because it lines up with something.
This is the first time I've seen a map of Barovia.
See that
Really?
M to the north?
Up here.
Yeah, around that area is.
Kind of like up there.
Mhm. And I did actually count the squares, and it is 2.5 days to get from about there to Barovia village.
That makes sense.
And yeah, this is a map of Barovia, Mike.
Why is Clara?
She's the marker on the map for where the party is.
Gotcha.
In the main
the-
campaign. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Castle Ravenloft that she's hovering over right now. I can move her out of the way. There's Castle Ravenloft. Alright.
It looks smaller than it does on Zillow.
Willing to go, by the way.
What's that?
I said, how late were you guys willing to go, by the way?
I got a hard 10 because I really got stuff I
Hard 10
need.
is
I'm going to Connecticut for all of tomorrow into like Tuesday during the day, so I need to get packed and ready for that. So
I
Alright,
getcha.
cool. Let me tell you a tale then. One reminiscent of silver dragons and the stars, and, well, ghosts and revenants as well as the eyes of him lay on. And the smoke above the fire expands and a circling dragon apparition goes about. It's common tale known to most of us of Argynvost. Great silver dragon of centuries past who dwelled in this valley long before current lord. And of course, and the mist shift, depicting knights in misty white armor, the order of the silver dragon, stalwart defenders of the valley, all that is good, just, and those fine words that paladins of their ilk like to use. Argynvost. Well, not just in the sense of a defeat to the master of our valley, Lord von Zarvik, but quite literally. A dragon may take on hordes of enemies, beasts of its power, adventure. But a conquering army as the Count had brought, with arrows enough to blot out the sun more than the mists above us do. Argynvost fell. And though his keep lay shrouded and derelict, as many know, mists shift to depict such a thing, it is not yet abandoned. And this is where fables turn to history, my friends. As I said, many know of Argynvost's defiance and his loss. But that defiance lives on. When the Order of the Silver Dragons had learned of Argynvost's defeat, many of which were slain themselves shortly thereafter, and the mists encroached on our valley, a land that only we are so privileged to exit. Those slain knights were not so privileged to exit. And whether you think it is superstition, supernatural, a bedtime story, or perhaps a bit of truth. There was much recordings of the Order of the Silver Dragon still marching about its castle, still having marched about this very valley when they first resurrected, slaying not ones, tens, or even hundreds, but thousands of Strahd's forces. Not because they were so powerful in of themselves, but because their undeath one. Each time they fell, whether it be minutes, hours, or at the most days, our legends tell that they would resurrect in another body, a corpse. Whether they be buried, laid out, desecrated, it did not matter. What is a mortal, even hundreds of them against a few immortal soldiers? But such magic has faded, and he waves his hand through the mists. Legend says, though, some still reside at that keep, and that Vladimir himself, leader of that ancient order, it was his own vengeance, as powerful and spiteful as it was against our benevolent host of the that not only returned his spirit from the strange mists that swirl, but those of his allies and companions too. And he again glances at you three. Dragons and ghosts. A unique merging of stories and time. But I think that you'll have much more interesting manners of stories to discuss for. And he looks behind his shoulder and can see a guard approaching. I believe our hostess is ready for you.
Cambry, talking in Mary's head is like, how did he know?
This old Vistani, you mean? How do they know about these things?
No, he looked right at us as soon as he said dragons and ghosts.
Well, you've got dragon tattoos, a pet dragon, and you are a ghost. So,
No, I'm not. Not that he knows.
well, you are summoned to one of the few spots in this encampment that is not on wheels, that is a proper tent staked to the ground, some structure surrounding and upholding it, clearly meant to keep it in place. And the guard quietly gestures that you enter inside, and as soon as the curtain is drawn behind you as you step into the mostly dark space, the sounds of laughter, the running river, the people, the music all fade, as if by some magical containment. And one by one, colored candles flicker on to an old woman sitting at a table in the center of a tent that is much larger on the inside than it is the outside. Ah, when I was told that I would have guests, it is always a surprise as to who or what comes to visit Madame Eva. As she rests her eye upon the three of you, and with the word what especially lingers over you, Cambry. The night is young, please, friends, join me. And I imagine everyone would.
Mm-hmm.
At luxurious cushioned chairs set out before her.
Nazrin would thank her for her hospitality and the swiftness of her being able to see us this evening.
Hmm. and in my swiftness, tell me, did you come to simply offer comforts to an old woman?
Oh.
Or are you like most others that would join us, or join me, and seek something greater?
You seem to see all. We do have more to talk with you about. Questions that we need answered. If you can help us.
One moment.
Mhm.
Jack left and very astutely said, "Hey, I don't know your garage code, so I gotta
Oh.
close the garage."
Okay.
Okay. Questions as all have, who visit me in such strange times and strange hours. Ah, well, the night may be young, but time is short. And with that, my friends, Madame Eva, the all-knowing, quickly begins to do what all seek of her who visit her in her camp. And from a gilded box, she brings out 2 decks of ornate cards, black and
Oh,
gold.
goody.
All who visit me seek answers. Though not all who visit me know that the questions they must ask are as they should be. But I encourage you to try. Tell me, each of you, what do you hope these cards reveal? What questions do you have for Madame Eva? Heroes?
Who am I?
She nods, looks to you, Nazrin.
If there's a dragon in the north, if there's a dragon in the north, what's its story?
Eloquently put.
All hail the dragon in the north.
And you, young soldier with faraway eyes. She looks to Mary.
On a meta level, do we know if the rest of the body of Argynvost is where, our one shot is going, or are we just putting the skull back in like its lair area?
There's not a lot known about the locations of the collective body of Argynvost. Your mission in 4 months is to return the skull, per the legends. And
But that's
the
also in
directions
4
given.
months.
It's also in 4 months.
Yeah.
If I may, though, the book that Nazrin learned it from would have still told you that Strahd took the skull at least as a trophy.
That's true.
So you would know at least where the skull would be by the legend if you have most likely also read the similar story,
Let me share the book with you.
I think what Mary wants to know is it's weird to ask a soothsayer for the truth, but
Oh, it's in all players' journals. Yeah, you guys can all read the book, The Fall of Argynvost.
it's weird. I feel like it's weird to ask a soothsayer for truth, but Mary would ask. I think that the truth of our history with the Mists and with Argynvost This is kind of a twofold question. He's wondering if it's Argynvost in the mists, and if she knows anything about whether or not we have to come back. You know?
Oh, would Stani have to return when they leave?
That's not
Mm.
that's not outright what I'm asking, but if I get the truth about, you know, the mists, if I confirm or bust my fears of something living in the mist, you know, hoping that it's not, you know, this piece of our history that he's sort of like anchored a lot of his beliefs on.
Mm-hmm. Ah, how surprising that children of the dragon wish to know about the draconic histories of our valley. Whether they be long ago or here and now. We shall see what the cards reveal. She looks to you, Cambry, with one eye that flits back and forth between the halves of you, and occasionally flits over your shoulder as if looking at something else standing near.
Ew.
Yes, Damien. She lays out 2 well-shuffled decks of cards, closes that eye, and places her hands out over the center of both of them. As she does, the candles in this large tent begin to flicker and glow a stark white. It lingers to the leftmost deck. You wish to know who you are. A question that seems not just of your here and your now, but of your past. Oh, and what a past you both have.
She's talking just to me when she says that, right?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Her crooked fingers pull a card deftly from the top, reveals it out. And on this card you see the apparition, or the artwork of an apparition, of this tormented ghost. Ah, from the high deck. The ghost. Looming pasts. Secrets buried long ago. And I see the return of another. Tell me, child, what is your name?
Cambry?
And your name, child, and you just hear this in your head, and you know what to say. Seemingly information plucked from nothing, as Madame Eva reaches in to grab it.
I think when she says this to Cambry, her eyes like go blank, her body becomes very still. And it's still her voice, but in a mannerism that is not hers. You hear Osna.
Your name, Cambry, is one that has been granted to you in this road. Osna. Though you may not recall it when you return to this plane, that is your name from the times before. She looks down to the ghost card from the high deck playing with. The truth is revealed as the cards desire. Do not mistake my knowledge for predetermined. I only know what they may reveal. And she places her hand, and her own eye again closes as she touches the card, and kind of contorts as she rolls her head back. And a voice that is hers, but simultaneously
You cut out.
from her.
Simultaneously, what?
Sorry. She places a hand on the ghost card. She contorts and rolls back. And as she begins to speak, it sounds as if she is speaking through her body, but multiple voices, though all sound like her. You are two souls in one, so revealed by the Troika. Two souls who have been entrapped in these mists for centuries. Two souls who were some of the first to be entrapped.
What?
And yet,
But
you are not the only of your kind who lays dormant in this valley. The only of your bloodline. Not the last of your lineage. And in time, you, Cambry, and her eye opens, shall return to the mists, and he, Osne, shall take your place, and so you will go around, round, and around. How unique to meet the Delisnia, so far from their destruction.
What? She's just like so shocked right now. And I think she
So
just
the
kind of
cards
gets
have revealed.
quiet as she's just kind of mulling all this over.
To speak with the Delisnia after such time has passed. A lineage that once opposed Strahd, once opposed the Zarovics, before this valley became what it was, before it persisted to what it may become.
Delisnia, that's who I am? Who I descend
Of your
from?
blood. And with that, she is going to move her hand at first back to the second deck, but it seemingly is pulled back to the high deck again, and she says, two souls, two high readings. And she reveals a card that is a dark figure sitting upon a throne. The Dark Lord. And placing her crooked fingers upon it. Time is short for your meetings with others of your blood. One who seeks to return to the valley properly, and if is able to, will have consequences that far outreach the nearest future. Whether or not it will be yourself or your brother who persists after such a meeting, and she takes her finger away, is not known even by the cards.
Oh.
Who are you, young one? You are not one, but two. Entwined and trapped in the valley as we all are. A fate sealed by death at the most untimely and somehow moments. Cursed or perhaps blessed to live an eternal spiral of one another.
Cambry's just like crying.
Aw.
And Evo will entirely dismiss the tears and look to both you, Nazrin and Mary, flitting her one between you both. Children of the Dragon, you've already learned what there is to tell from the history books, the legends, the fables, and the airside tales of the silver dragon that once properly dwelled in our mists valley, this land. The one who had fallen in defeat. The one whose body was cast apart and has traveled further across this valley than you might. And she reveals a card from the taller of the decks. And on it is depicted a thin, spindly man with strings protruding from both fingers controlling a marionette. And she places her fingers on this card. The marionette, multiple voices echo from her. A card that tells of one of an underling, a puppet being commanded by a puppeteer. The thing, the beast that you encountered at the edges of our valley, the draconic presence, is not the fabled Argynvost. His fate, though not extinguished, will be spun further along. However, and she opens her eye, there is still but one lineage of dragons that has ever graced this valley. The cards reveal it so. Any insights on that commentary, or I can elaborate a little bit above the table? Shauna and Mike.
One lineage is in like
As
still a
in,
bloodline
descent.
of Argynvost.
Well, one way or another, older or younger.
Mm-hmm.
Was Argynvost? I don't know if this is like a question answer period, but I think Mary Mary and Nazrin's training, they would know that there's not, at least in their experience, not a lot of like familial ties that dragons keep. You know, once they're old enough to have their own horde, their own lair, they're kind of just, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as all the histories of Argynvost here in the valley, it seems like that Argynvost would not have had a predecessor here. This is probably where they made, their home. But dragons are, they need another dragon to make a third dragon. Right? So how many dragons were here when Strahd took over the land?
With that, musings aloud, her hand draws deck, the common deck, and reveals another card. A card that depicts several members dressed similarly in leather garbs and swords by their sides. She says, the guild members. A card of connection, familiarity. A card of lineage. A theme, it seems, between your questions and your purposes here, as her eye lingers back to Cambry, who's still crying. And as she places her fingers upon it and breathes deeply, Argynvost had fallen, though even his spirit lingers. What remains in the mists is of him, though not him. And unfortunately, seems to be not of its own will and desires. There is but one lord of this valley, who puppeteers all. And her eyes open, returning to a single voice rather than multiple again. The cards depicted as so. What or how something like that comes to have dwelled in the mists is clear. A descendant of what once was. Whose control it lies under seems equally clear. What purpose it has, and she takes her hands off the card, is not. Any clarifications, players?
Mary looks to Naz and says, the skull is supposed to be in the castle. How's it breathing?
That is a very good question. Does that mean it's not in the castle?
I guess not.
Then where on earth could it be?
Well,
And she looks at Madame Ava after asking that.
Who is showing some signs of fatigue, but nods another card from the high deck, and reveals, the artifact, an item of power, which is depicted by a crown. Places her fingers on it. The skull of Argynvost. How strange. Its residence is not within Castle Ravenloft. But yet it remains hidden. The mists do not house it. It is within the valley, where it has been moved to. She opens an eye even I cannot see. I do not suspect this encounter you had had is the manifestations of energy from the bones of a once living dragon. No. And she places her hand back on the card, eyes closed. It is as you may fear. It seems there is another dragon in Barovia, children of the... Perhaps that excites you.
Considering what she said about Strahd being, the Lord of the Valley, there is only one. No. If this thing is being puppeteered... Is there...
Is there?
Sorry. Now I started thinking in my head. Is there a way to cut the string? Is there a way to have it know its lineage of...
She puts her hand up. Fatigued, clearly, as this reading has gone on. Questions upon questions, young one. And yet, I have declined to answer. The very first that our young soldier had requested of me. You seek the skies as a dragon does. And the skies here are shrouded in mist. Yet you have flown and returned. She reveals a card from the deck, the high deck, and it is very recognizable. A fog swirling through a field. The mists as she places her fingers upon it. The Vistani's curse allows you, us, to leave. A boon granted to us ages ago for saving Lord of Hunzarvik. But the mists, as you know, reach and swirl, and their tendrils expand to ensnare any and all. And they certainly would ensnare those who tried to stay away for longer.
For longer?
Longer than they are granted.
Okay.
You may fly, young dragon, but your wings are clipped. No one may leave this valley for eternity, not even us. Try and the mists will find you and bring you back home.
I wonder if it would still happen if you left the mist and got reincarnated as into something else. Which is just Mike, staying above the table.
She
I
takes
do want to
both
let you
hands
guys
in
know
place.
it is 10 o'clock, so if we could wrap up in the next couple of minutes, please.
Yep, we're
Mhm.
gonna. She's gonna take both hands and place them of either deck. The questions answered as they may, it would seem that fate desires you to know just a bit more. And she simultaneously reveals 2 cards. One is of a man whose reflection is screaming in a mirror, the broken one. And the other is of a young woman in a white dress, and the innocent. She looks to you, Nazrin, her hand hovering and placed upon the broken one. Defeat, failure, despair in the loss of something or without which one feels incomplete. That is the mark of this card, young child of the dragon. In the near time ahead, you will be tested. You will lose everything.
Nazrin jumps and backs up a bit, but continues to listen.
She removes her hand. Do not take this as a threat nor a curse. Many with such pain ahead of them are unlucky enough to not know and therefore not prepare. These cards reveal possible futures. Nothing is set in stone. I pity the thorns you will have to walk on soon, my friend. But hold hope. Light can shine through even the darkest of nights. And her other hand rests on, as I had said, the card of the innocent. This card speaks to me of love. Innocence can remain naive and sweet, or it can be twisted and turned against someone. Your paths will continue to cross, Mistwalkers. Yours and those of others. I foresee that you will encounter not one but many other persons of power. I encourage you, as the cards would tell me, to act not just in spite and vengeance, or in anger, but to remember that even the most spiteful, the most vengeful, the most hateful, often began as those acting in kindness and in love. And she removes her hand and slumps forward. Unique fates, the 3 of you, and more will be entwined, Mistwalkers. She waves her hand and her tent opens. And through sleepily her one remaining open eye, she simply says, "Leave me to rest."
Yeah. At that command, I think Nazrin shakily stands up, gives her a deep bow. Thank you for your insights. I do hope your readings point to a positive path. And she motions for everyone else to get up, and she starts to walk out of the tent.
The night would go on, the Vistani festivities would still welcome you, rest would be more than yours to have here, and they would even materials for safe returns to wherever it is you would like to go to, likely back to Valakai and Donnie Camp near it. And the closing sentiments that I would like to make abundantly clear through the veiled, vague terms of the reading above the table is that, yes, Marty, your character, Cambry, now knows about her own past that you, of course, were already the creator of, that you now have the ability to not dance around in confusion, but know very straightforwardly. And we're given the insights that there is another of your bloodline fated to return to the valley in the coming future. A secret long buried. The dragon is not Argynvost in the mists. It is not an embodied skull. It is a dragon. One under the control of Strahd. How, why, what?
Ugh.
Those still remain unanswered.
Can't wait you
but-
drop that for us three right now.
Right now.
Ugh.
10 p.m. on a Sunday.
And the young dragon, as she had referred to as Mary, who wishes to fly from this valley eternally, how you have unfortunately that as long as these mists swirl around this valley, even the Vistani privileged to leave will find themselves ensnared and dragged back in. And she encourages overall, per the readings given, that A, Nazrin, you are in for a ride in the next few months, but you already knew that. And her vague understanding of there are enemies to come who even the most hateful and vengeful began, as so the card would like you to know, from places of love and kindness. And to do with that information as you will, in spoilers, the mini arc. Thank you guys for holding out. I know we started a little late, but we also definitely went later. That seems to be the inevitable with Dungeons and Dragons.
30-minute session, by the way, guys.
Yeah. Hour and a half.
I thought I knew I was aiming for 90 minutes, and I was like, it'll probably go 2 hours. I'm sorry that it went 3, but it's good to have
No need to
concluded all of
apologize. I love this.
Yeah.
concluded all of this. I think
I'm-
very wholeheartedly.
I'm having fun too.
We don't have to
I have
recommend.
shit to do. You know what I mean?
I get it. I know. Thank you for holding on. I hope this was more than just a practice of your characters or a delivery of your backstories that you now get to act on, but has new information that is not just good for the mini arc, but also that new information that you guys get to separate from the knowledge. That will, I'm sure, be learned at a later point. So that is that. If you haven't stopped recording, you can.